This is Shakil Ahmed. We are discussing the third video on Shiny development, and the in third video we will discuss about outputs, how we can specify different outputs in the user interface and how they can be called in the server function. The UI specification creates an output with ID like a plot output, like a table output or a text output, and the server function directly access that output in terms of output with dollar sign and plot. Well, for example, this is the output ID. Just like input ID, we have output ID, and we in server function we call that output, and then we use the render command to convert that output into HTML. Basically, render function automatically call the output from the UI specification, and then it converts the output into HTML and give the result on the dashboard or on the app. So there are three basic types of outputs that can be rendered through renderText, renderTable, and renderPlot. So here is an example of text output. We can produce text output using text output option and verbatim text output that is used for code. And this is for just simple text, and this is for R codes. And the server function will call the output as the idea of the first output is text, and the idea of second output is uh, code. So this is just the first output is written in render text, and then the text we are the output can be printed using render print, and then that is used for verbatim type of text. We use render print command, and then the some summary of the table. This is basically in a form of R code, just like we see on the in terms of HTML, and you can use render print the result, and is usually paired with verbatim text out. So let's run this example. You can see the output. Just copy this, and here is our RShiny setup. We call the library RShiny, and we started a UI with float page and the server. So I am just replacing the UI and server with my code. Here we have a text output, and we have a verbatim text output that is in code. This is a text, and you can just change the text if you want to change. You can just uh, these are the sub functions within the server function: output text and output code. And we are closing the server function here. It should be closed here. And this is for render text, render print, and this is for render text. And this the message is written in a curly bracket, what you want to show in on your screen. This is my first Shiny app. So let's run this code. Here you can see this is a text output, and this is a verbatim text output. The next one is the table output. Table outputs are also of two types. One, the simple table output that is rendered through renderTable, and the second one is data table output that is rendered through rendered data table. Uh, the render table, simple render table gives their statistic table. Statistic means it is just uh, non-dynamic fx table, and the rendered data table output gives a longer table. Usually we want to display a data set. So uh, we can use this simple render table, and then then you don't need to you can see in the render table you don't need to use the curly bracket within the render table option. You just need to give the command what you want to display, and that is head empty cars. That is my data set, empty car data. And this second is a render data table. This is just giving first few observation in your data set, and this is giving the whole table. And the option, you are setting the length of page to 5. You can increase it if your data is larger. So we can again copy this code with server function and UI. We are just replacing this server function and UI with table output. Just replacing this and check if everything is okay. Then we can run. First, we need to stop the previous one, and we can run the and Shiny app with table output. So here you can see the two tables, and this is table 1 and this is table 2. Here you have option of search as well. You want to search for specific variables, you can search, for example, SYGYL, and this will give you specific data in your table 110, for example. So it will give the observations with 110 values. So you can search, and this is a dynamic table. This is a moving table, not a static table. This is a static table. You can't search, and this table is fixed. It's not moving. And you can increase the number. You can change the number of pages within this table. As we are set the length of table to 5, it's showing only 5 columns, 5 rows. If we change it to, for example, 10, it will show first 10. For example, I will just change it to 20, for example. Let's see, and can just close it and run again. Now you can see first 20 observations. So you can increase the length of your table and whatever you want to see. So this is the two types of table outputs. And the other type of output is the plot output. You can display any type of R using basic graphics or ggplot2 or otherwise other types of graphics with output plot and a render plot. Output type should be output plot output, and you use the render command using a render plot option. And you can adjust the width and length of the table using and the pixel. This is 400 pixel. If you want to increase, you can increase the pixel of the figure. And then the server function, you have the output, that is output, and the id is plot. You can change, for example, it to plot 1, whatever you want. I'm changing it to plot 1, for example. If we have many plots, then we need to identify the plots. plot one, and then I am plotting first five values, for example 1 to 10 values I want to just plot. And the res96 is used to show the plot in shiny, which is just you can see in your R Studio. It will display the same plot you will display in your simple R Studio. So now we can check. Uh, we are just replacing the UI and server. So just stop the previous one and then Control A and Control R. You can see the plot. This is the plot. This is just a plot you can see in your R Studio. If you want to see on R Studio, you can just plot this. So we need to stop this, and if you want to see in your R Studio, you will just see this. So this is the same plot you can see on your app. This is your shiny app plot. You can give a title, and you can change the different things. For example, here in plot option, you can give a title. You can give xlab, for example, main plot. Now let's see. This is a scatter plot, and similarly you can change the axis titles and other things. You can add legends, whatever you want to display. So these are three basic types of outputs, and we will discuss more about outputs later in advanced type of codings. Like we can display geographical maps, we can display different types of moving images, for example, GIF images uh, on your dashboard. So thank you. In next video, we will discuss about basic of reactivity, how output reacts with change in the input.